ride safe, you follow all the rules. And someone crashes into you and suddenly you're guilty until proven innocent? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. If you're a rider, you're already fighting every day just to be seen. Distracted drivers love to blame riders, even when the facts say otherwise.
We have been promoting motorcycle safety and trusted by the riding community for nearly 30 years. Do your research after a motorcycle injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
We're chatting with our guest, always safety first, 811 Megaphone Man.
Call 811 before you dig.
You never stray from your mission of letting homeowners, landscapers, and excavators know you should always call 811 before you dig.
Call 811.
Call for both small and big jobs. And 2 working days in advance?
811.
Any parting words? And I'm guessing they will be.
Call 811 before you dig.
Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
811.
Make a precision decision with Precision Air.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gina Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing, the Valley's #1 ranked AC company.
Wait a minute, honey. That's my line.
Well, Eric, not anymore. And people don't know we truly are a family-owned business because you always do the commercials.
But I like it that way.
If your family needs quality AC or plumbing, call the #1 rated family-owned business in Arizona.
Well, can I at least tell them how to reach us?
Go ahead, Eric.
Call us today at 602-FIX-MY-AC. That's 602-FIX-MY-AC.
Are you tired of seeing rust stains in your sinks? Call Culligan or scrubbing hard water scale buildup from your fixtures. Call Culligan. We can customize whole home solutions to address common water worries found in Phoenix. And now, for a limited time, you can get better water at every tap in your home for $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 6 months. Problem water is no problem for Culligan. Contact your local water expert today. Contaminants may not be in your water. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Now through July 15th at Whole Foods Market. Fire up grill season with hot savings on juicy summer fruit. The season's best veg and sizzle-ready proteins, like 25% off shrimp with Prime.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
How important of a series is it this weekend for the Arizona Diamondbacks? And a lot of conversation today about the word trust. Welcome in the Friday edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan is behind the glass taking your phone calls here on a Take Friday, 480-864-1060. Going to give away a $50 gift card to Von Hansen's for the best take on the program today. My suggestion to all of you, get in early. Do not leave this until the last possible second. You've got 2 hours of the show to get in here on a Take Friday. Set the table early. Set the bar high for everybody else to beat. So we'll take your calls on the program today as well. But we get started with a question. And it is a question that I'm not sure we can answer until we actually see what they do. But it's a very important question.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
All eyes right now, for all of us, are focused on the pending, looming Kevin Durant trade. The trade that appears to be close to its conclusion. Feels like we are closer to the end of this long journey that dates all the way back, truthfully, to January. That's when this first started, when they considered trading him at the deadline. And we are now finally, seemingly, just days away from the conclusion of this saga. Now, more things start the moment that the Kevin Durant trade ends. But this is our first look at Brian Gregory as a general manager. This is our first look at the self-described new and improved Matt Ishbia, a more hands-on Matt Ishbia, a more involved Matt Ishbia. This trade is our first look at both of those gentlemen. And I would say, as we sit here today on a Friday the 13th, that it feels like there isn't a lot of trust, there isn't a lot of faith. There are people scared of what a Brian Gregory, Matt Ishbia-led Phoenix Suns team may look like. There's concern on whether or not you will maximize the Kevin Durant return. There are concerns about what Matt Ishbia being heavily involved actually looks like. Will this team take the necessary steps to turn their course around? All of these are questions, and they stem from one place. They stem from a place of not trusting the people in charge. If you are worried, if you are concerned about what they're going to do in a Kevin Durant trade, what they're going to do in the draft, what they are going to do in free agency, it stems from a place of untrustworthiness. It stems from a place of uneasiness. I don't think there's anybody out there within the sound of my voice watching us on YouTube that feels concerned that if forced into the position that Mike Hazen isn't going to nail the trade deadline if he needs to be a seller. Just as there isn't a concern if he is put in a position to be a buyer, there's zero worry. Why? Because you trust Mike Hazen. You trust Ken Kendrick. You've got proof. There's a resume. There is a body of work spanning enough time for where you are comfortable with Mike Hazen in these situations. Even though it would be terrible for this team to have to sell at the deadline, you would feel like you have the right person at the wheel. We don't feel like we have the right people at the wheel right now for the Phoenix Suns. So that leads me to this. Can these two win us over? Can Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory, in their first chance to maybe earn just a little bit of trust, not a whole lot, not the trust that Mike Hazen has, perhaps not the trust that Monty Ossenfort has, perhaps not the trust that Kenny Dillingham has down in Tempe, just a little bit of trust to where the arrow is no longer trending downward. Can they do that? That is the bare minimum to try to turn the perception, to try to turn the optic around. Can they do it? Will they be able to do it? What does that need to look like? All the questions that I'm asking here today ahead of what I expect to be news at some point next week for us to discuss here on the show, based on the reporting that's out there of Kevin Durant being traded. When we get to that moment, whether it's next Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when we get to that place and the bulletin flashes across the screen, you get the text alert, producer Evan jumps in and tells me that the trade has happened, are we going to feel like, yes, they got enough here, this is a good sign? My worries about Matt Ishbia being too involved, my worries about a first-time GM overseeing a major move, they are alleviated just a little bit. That, to me, is more important than the specific players they get back, although we'll talk about that today as well. It matters more than the specific draft picks, 14 from San Antonio, 10 from Houston, whatever other first-round picks potentially could be thrown out there. The specifics don't matter as much as the vibes do. The vibes are what's going to matter here. When we get that bulletin, when we hear the news of a Kevin Durant trade, are we going to feel like the Suns got fleeced, or are we going to feel, oh, they actually did a good job? Can these two guys win us over? That, to me, is the black cloud that is hovering over all of this, because it is our first test. It is our first answer. And if they pass this test, if they give us the correct answer here, it can allow you to get excited about Jordan Ott as a head coach, probably like you want to be. It can get you excited about what this team could potentially accomplish in the draft, and it could get you excited about what this roster can look like. But right now, there's no room for excitement. There is no room to entertain this team being good because you don't trust the people in charge.
Half this battle is the actual players you get back. The other half of this battle for the front office is building trust with a fan base that has no faith right now.
I would take it a step further. You want to put it at 50-50, I would be stronger. I think it is 70-30 trust versus the actual return. Now, if you get a good return, you're going to get the good reaction. But this is their first chance to show us that. Matt Ishbia wants to be more involved. We all think that's a terrible idea. We all think that that's going to end in disaster. The meme of the dumpster on fire, it's what we expect if Matt Ishbia continues to be heavy-handed about his role in things for the Phoenix Suns. But I am willing to be proven wrong. This is their first chance to do that. So that's why it's so heavily weighted towards there is zero trust. We are at rock bottom trust levels with this organization. You are now on your fourth head coach in the last 4 seasons. You have an inexperienced person sitting in the GM chair. That is not a shot at Brian Gregory. It is just the reality of his qualifications for the job. And you have an owner who has looked us all in the face, or I guess behind an email to the rest of his staff, and said, I wasn't involved enough in the past, and we laugh at that. We are scared by that notion. That's where this team is right now. That is the place that we find ourselves mere days away from the most important move this team is going to make in the last half decade. So I'm sorry if the trust levels aren't off the chart today. If they haven't been off the chart since the end of the season when you fired another head coach. This is why the Michigan State stuff comes up as much as it does, because there is no trust. It would not matter if you had belief in the people in charge.
Wouldn't matter whatsoever. But because you've created a pattern, you now have turned a fan base almost against you. And you have to continue to build back that trust. This is their first chance to do so. Do I think they may have gained a little bit in a Jordan Ott press conference? Maybe. I think you and I both thought it went well, but I still think that goes on the back burner to where this Kevin Durant trade can land you.
What did we say the day after Jordan Ott got hired? That guy sounded like the adult in the room. That guy gave me the most confidence. The problem with that is he doesn't have the biggest say. The Kevin Durant trade is going to be made by the people that have the biggest say. And that can allow me to be excited about Jordan Ott. Now, you got to land the plane here. I'll admit, I'll be the first person to throw my hands up. I don't know what landing the plane here looks like. I don't. If we use their own, at least through public reporting, their own expectations for this trade of getting back similarly, comparable, I believe is the word that was used by Wendy, to what they gave up for him, then they aren't going to meet that bar and we are not going to trust them. That's not the bar I want to set for this. I've been very consistent. Couple draft picks, maybe 2 at the most. Give me 2 young players, 1 starter, 1 guy with a high ceiling, a potential, a project. That to me is what you're going to get here. If they do that, if they land this plane and that is the guts of this deal, I'm going to give them a little more trust. Not a ton. We'll use a word we've been using all week. A little bit of breadcrumbs. I'm looking for breadcrumbs. Please. The Diamondbacks gave us breadcrumbs this week. Could I get a little bit of breadcrumbs coming out of PHX Arena in downtown Phoenix?
I just need 3 to 4 assets that I feel, even if it's a Hail Mary, that you could turn into something real. That's what I need. I need something where I'm like, young guy, I think they could develop him.
I need to see a vision. I need to see what you're trying to do. And this is going to be not words, not fancy phrases at a press conference.
The alignment.
A vision. A vision that is seen through what you can get back for Kevin Durant. Showing to all of us what you are prioritizing right now. Actual actions. Not words, not fancy phrases, not reporting, an actual tangible thing to look at.
A vision, a path, maybe get a player that you've talked about, this new culture you're going to build. How about show me that in a trade with a player that plays like that?
Give me a poster child for the vision that you are trying to enact. I know Devin Booker is the figurehead. He is the face of your franchise, as he should be. But this trade, you can give me a face. You can give me a poster child for what you are trying to do.
And just because he's the face of your franchise doesn't always mean he's the face of your culture.
No, most of the time it goes hand in hand. It doesn't always have to do that, though. Right? I don't classify Jason Tatum as the culture there in Boston. Right? For the longest time, Marcus Smart was the culture there in Boston. Right?
I agree.
They took this year to Peyton Pritchard to an extreme level, right? There are some places where the culture isn't the face of the franchise. Some places need that. I think this team needs a little bit of that. They need Book to lead by example. But when it comes to this specific trade, show me something. Show me what the vision looks like. And that's when you start to earn the trust back. That's when you start to allow people, or people are more willing to, is maybe a better way to phrase it. People are more willing to get on board with what you're selling. Right now, the optimism, the excitement level around this fan base is towards the bottom, if not at the bottom of all the teams in the NBA. Towards the bottom. There's no excitement. There's no optimism. There is a concern of what bad thing's going to happen next. What bad decision are we going to make this time?
Right now, people are selling Sun stock. Get them to a position where they at least hold it. Maybe not buy, but get them to a position where like, hey, we're not going to sell quite yet.
Easy. Buy or sell's coming up at 11:45. Don't do buy or sell ahead of buy or sell. But very good point. Right now, people are shorting Phoenix Suns stock. Get them to start buying. The way you do that, the path you get back to people buying in, is how you conduct yourself in this trade. What you get back in this trade. We have always said we are rooting for Brian Gregory. We want to be proven wrong about Brian Gregory. Here is his first chance. Matt Ishbia, we think it's a terrible idea that you're being more hands-on. Here is your chance to maybe allow us to take a step back and reflect and say, we were wrong. Now, I think our take's going to age pretty well there. There's a long track record across all sports that when an owner starts just buffooning around and just starts just smashing buttons, it doesn't work. So I've got history on our side of the argument here. So we'll see. We'll see who's right. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here on a Take Friday. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, the Diamondbacks, they start a 3-game set tonight with the San Diego Padres. Will it be a bounce-back start for Ryne Nelson? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince D'Alicio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning. It's our Father's Day special. Our team will talk about their dads. Plus, we'll feature local coaches, and we launch our new segment spotlighting how our favorite high school administrators are spending their summer vacation. This week, we're joined by Mesa High AD David Klecken. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Celebrate Independence Day with your hometown professional soccer club. Phoenix Rising takes on Lexington SC on Friday, July 4th at 7:30 p.m. in a special military appreciation match. A night to honor those who serve and turn up the heat on the pitch. Fans will receive limited edition of Phoenix Rising sunglasses at the gate. And don't miss the debut of the club's Americana merchandise line, including a patriotic train top. Plus, enjoy $1 beers all match long, perfect for a summer night under the lights. Tickets start at just $15. Grab yours now at phxrisingfc.com.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona. like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. After the OKC Thunder bounced back with that Game 2 thumping of the Pacers, the general consensus was, all right, order has been restored. The Thunder remembered they were the Thunder. The Pacers were a great story, but both teams are who we thought they were, and this is still going to be a very short series. The hell it is. Come to find out, the Pacers are who they have shown us to be the entire postseason. And of course, they manned up in their crib and they won a huge Game 3 Wednesday night. And they did it by doing what they do best, pressuring the hell out of you, wearing you down, and then ultimately choking you out. And in our game-to-game referendum of whether or not Tyrese Haliburton is him or not, he was Thursday night. Moreover, that Pacer bench was him. And if Hallie and that bench can do that 2 more times, there is no reason to believe they won't shock the world, even if the Thunder are still favored to win this series. You keep throwing dirt on the Pacers, but I'm not going to. I know better. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, Friday edition of the show. Chris Schubert with you. Appreciate you joining us here. Diamondbacks start a 3-game series tonight with the San Diego Padres. This a Apple TV vehicle tonight. So you can't watch this anywhere else except Apple TV. Are you a fan of the Apple TV games?
No and yes. So I know that's a crazy answer. If you're watching the broadcast on the Apple TV and you have their announcers, not a huge fan. But you know what you can do on Apple TV? You can sync the radio broadcast to it, which is fun.
So you listen to the local team's radio while listening to...
Yeah, so like for me, when I watch Phillies games,
right.
I love Scott Fransky, who does the radio.
You get the radio broadcast, but the Apple TV.
Yeah.
And you
can sync it right on the Apple TV.
You can do it right on the Apple TV.
Yeah, there's a button in the right corner.
And
you can sync and you can pick the radio.
I did not know that you could do that.
Yeah.
That feels like a fantastic choice for anybody that's consuming. So anybody that's watching tonight, they can listen to the Diamondbacks radio broadcast while watching the game.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. truthfully, I'm an old school guy, even though I'm only 30. I love listening to baseball on the radio. There's just something,
it's the perfect sport for radio.
I can remember growing up and being in the backyard in the summertime. And we should have like story time music for times like this. We had a shed in the backyard where just lawnmower, the rakes were in there. You just had all the tools out there in the shed, right? But we also had, and I can just vividly remember this, the largest stereo system that I've ever seen in a small, tiny shed that my dad would turn on, and he would play music and play the radio while he was out doing yard work around the house. But if the Mets were on, you just turn that thing to station in New York, and boom, you're listening to the Mets in the backyard. So I, in the backyard, playing wiffle ball with friends in the neighborhood or playing soccer or something with my sister, boom, we'd have the Met game on and listening to the radio broadcast. So I've just always had this affinity towards radio. So the fact that you can sync up, and you can do that on MLB TV with other games anyway. You can always sync the radio broadcast to the TV feed anyway if you wanted to do that. So that's pretty cool.
I'm with you. The radio thing's pretty fun. Growing up, I used to have this like CD player that could also get radio stations right next to my bed. And so when I was really young, and the Phillies were very good, if they were playing on the West Coast, like I could just kind of lay there and listen to Scott Franzke as I fell asleep. So
John says, don't have Apple, don't care. Feels like a perfect time for this.
Who cares?
Uninterested in the Apple TV. It's hard, man.
John hung up on Apple TV.
Wow. Very good. Very good. It is hard. It is hard in today's media society to know where games are being played and to have all of the services required to watch games, because there's baseball on Apple TV. There's baseball on Roku. There's baseball, obviously, and especially here in this town, we don't have a TV partner where you can just flip the channel and watch the Diamondbacks.
That's where it becomes more difficult, is that they don't have a TV partner.
Right. They're doing it all themselves. And so you can either get it digitally through D-backs TV, or they have the channel set up for certain providers, but it's difficult.
And it doesn't happen as much because they play more on the West Coast. But the East Coast Sunday morning Peacock games, have you ever gotten one of those?
The Roku games now.
Oh, Roku.
Yes.
Yeah, those are tough.
I think they refer to them as the Sunday leadoff games.
Yeah.
They start at like 11 o'clock out here. Got baseball getting started. Or no, actually, it's even early. I think it's like 9 o'clock for us.
Yeah, it's like an 11:30 start East Coast time, so I think it's 8:30.
John would like the record to reflect that he never answered the call, so you can't hang up if you don't answer the call. I'm just being I'm the middleman here. I'm not trying to get involved. I'm just sharing what he said. That he said he never answered the call, so he can't hang up.
Thanks, John.
I'm just
listen. You know, he can't hang up if he doesn't answer the call, but you got to answer, right? What have we said on this? Pick up the phone.
Oh, you always pick up the phone.
Always pick up the phone.
You always pick up the phone. I mean, we have a motto here. You got to do something. You always should be looking to do something. You should never just be idly letting life pass you by. You should happen to life. Life shouldn't happen to you. That's our motto here on the program. Ryne Nelson going to make a start tonight on Apple TV for the Arizona Diamondbacks, getting us back on track. And he is coming off of, what's the nicest way to describe Ryne Nelson's last outing?
A clunker.
Sure. It was not good for Ryne Nelson compared to his standards. It has not been what we have expected from Ryne Nelson this season, what we've seen from him this season. I mean, the great outing he gave against the Padres, the 6 2/3 scoreless, the great outing that he gave against the Dodgers in LA, 5 innings of 1 earned run ball against that team, that lineup on the road. I mean, he has been, and I don't use this word lightly, outstanding this season as the spot starter and then the fill-in for Corbin Burnes and Eduardo Rodriguez. He's been great in that role, but they've moved him back and forth. He's been all over the place. I mean, you look at his game log, there's a save here, a hold there, a blown save here, a win here, a loss there. I mean, he is just racking up the pitching statistics in all of these roles. Well, now with Corbin Burnes sidelined, he has a spot in that rotation, firmly has a hold on one of those rotation spots, and he's going to get full run here to try to be a starter and to try to help this team turn their season around, or at least get back into the wild card race. And so I have enough body of work here. There's a track record, the second half of last year, the starts that he's made this season, to say Saturday happened. I'm not going to worry about Saturday right now in a vacuum. I'll worry about Saturday if he goes out there tonight and struggles once again, has another clunker. Now I've got 2 of them in a row. Now I can start to be concerned. But I have that start against Pittsburgh. I have that start against LA. I have that outing that he gave against the Mets in a pinch where he was solid. I have a resume that tells me he's been a good, solid starting pitcher. And every once in a while, you're going to have a game like this. And oh, by the way, he was back to being a reliever for a moment because they put him back in the bullpen, and then they needed him right after that. So he's been stretched out and then been told he's permanently a bullpen. He's just back and forth, back and forth. Now he is settled into being a starter. He got that bad start out of the way in June. Let's see what happens tonight.
In reality, his last start came on short rest.
He started on Monday against Pittsburgh, went 6 2/3. He then appeared that Saturday as a reliever for 4 innings against Washington, and then started the next Saturday. So he got enough.
It is on full rest.
He got enough rest.
Okay.
But starter, no, you're a permanent member of the bullpen. No, you're back to being a starter. Changes how you prepare.
Yeah, it
changes everything about how you get yourself ready to take the mound for the team. Now he knows I'm a starter. This isn't a Aaron Savali in Milwaukee. For those of you who don't know, they had a starter who they made room for their top prospect, moved him to the bullpen. He demanded a trade. And this morning they traded him to the White Sox. You want to demand a trade? All right. You didn't say where.
Speaking of calling up their top prospect, I mean, just a disaster on the hill last night. Did you see that?
Well, he was great.
He was great
until he
rolled
hurt.
his ankle on the mound.
Yeah.
And, not while pitching, just walking back up the mound, he rolled his ankle.
But it was cramping also, I believe is what they said. He had a whole lot going on. But boy, he was humming it up there.
He was humming it up there.
It was an effortless 102. I mean, he had a slider that was like 96.
Oh, he's going to be difficult to hit.
It's going to be tough. So it was a great debut for him last night. But they made Ryne Nelson a starter. He's a starter for this rotation now. He's going to prepare different. His in-between starts is going to be different. And I think this should free him up to be the guy that he was last year. Let's see. If he has another bad start, yeah, then you can be concerned. But there are other starts recently where he looked great. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Trust. It was a big word in our opening segment of the program. We'll use it again because how much do we trust Jonathan Gannon? That's next to lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The lunch break.
Resiliency is an asset for this baseball club. They have it in spades. And the fact that they can keep dusting themselves off and getting back into the fight, I don't know if it's going to lead to a turnaround. I don't know if they're going to be able to pole vault all of the teams that you need to pole vault, but I know that they're going to go down swinging. This team is not going down without a fight.
The lunch break, heard from 11 to 1 here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS AM 1060 app.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost, theatrical, heavy metal, arena rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
A blown call at the plate?
Safe.
Frustrating. Spilling your nachos in the stands? Ah, man. Disappointing. Finding a scorpion in your home? Honey, I need a little help in here. Unnecessary. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control, the official service provider of the Arizona Diamondbacks and Chase Field. While we can't do anything about the nachos, we can definitely take care of the scorpions. Call 602 Blue Sky today and get big league pest protection for your home. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
The summertime savings are heating up at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-5 for just $319 a month plus tax for 36 months with just $29.99 down.
And we still have 1.9% financing on some of our most popular models, like the 2025 Mazda CX-70 and CX-90. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com to check out our current selection of inventory, not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Hope everyone is having a great Friday. Trust. It was the word that we used in the opening segment of the show, talking about Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia. But I want to take that word and extend it to Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals, because I think there is a lot of discourse on what the Cardinals are going to be in 2025. I think there's a lot of conversation about, will they reach their potential as a team? And they were the talk of the offseason with how active they were in free agency, making the big splashes, overhauling their defense. They had a great draft that was widely panned by draft analysts for what they were able to do in the first round with Walter Nolan, turning around and getting Will Johnson in the second round. So their name, their roster, their presence was front and center for a lot of the offseason. Now, their win total in Vegas tells a different story, sitting at 8.5. Vegas basically putting the line at, we think this team might be a little bit above 500 or a little below 500. Right there. We're just going to put it right in the middle. That's where they sat. They set the win-loss total for the Cardinals. And we've mentioned here on the show about the quarterback, about Kyler Murray, and the pressure that's on him, that it's a make or break year, that as he goes, this team's going to go. And I've been somewhat of a defender of his. I have said that, hey, there's more to this team than just him. I think he is good enough. Statistically, last year, he was good enough. But yes, he has to prove it. But I think there's another reason, perhaps, why people aren't fully buying into the Arizona Cardinals. And I wonder if it's that they don't trust Jonathan Gannon, because I think it's fair to say that of the 4 major sports, the one where coaching has the largest impact, the biggest impact, is in football. It feels like if you have the coaching battle on your side, you can beat any team on any day. If you are able to play that coaching chess match and draw up the right plays and come up with the right scheme, you can make any team, any quarterback, any offense look terrible or you can take the greatest defense out there and make it look like it's Swiss cheese. All goes back to coaching. And so I wonder if there are some out there that don't trust Jonathan Gannon. Because let's go back to how we opened the show. The reason why there's no faith in the future of the Suns, the reason why people aren't optimistic, the reason why people can't get excited is they don't trust the people in charge. Now, it's my read of things here in this town. It's my own personal opinion as well. There's a lot of trust in who Jonathan Gannon is as a coach and as a leader of this football team. I don't think there's anybody out there that wonders if the Cardinals have the right coach. I think there's a lot of us that think they have exactly the right coach who's maximizing this roster and now is going to have one of the best rosters he's had as a coach. And so now we're really going to see what he's capable of. And so if you trust the coach, then shouldn't you trust this team? If you trust the coach, shouldn't you believe in the expectations that are around this team? If you believe in the coach, shouldn't you think that when it comes to those big games, in those big moments, which, let's face it, they didn't have a ton of them last year, but the ones that they did have, they didn't thrive well in. Don't you feel like he's going to have them ready this time around for those big games and those big moments? You don't think he's going to have learned from last year? He is going to have learned from a 6-4 start and watching a playoff berth slip through their fingers. If you believe in the coach, you believe he's smart, you believe he's got a great work ethic, you believe he's a great leader, you believe he can scheme with the best of them, you also should believe that he's going to learn from his last 2 years. And now that he is on the main stage, that's where this team finds themselves this year. Not a side act, but on the main stage. They are on the main stage this year. That he's going to have them ready for that main stage. So, to me, if you believe in the coach, which I do, then you should believe in this team. It's really that simple. This coach is good enough to win the chess match against a lot of other coaches. This coach is good enough to out-scheme other teams and have the right game plan. There will be games this season where you will walk in and say, the Cardinals have the coaching matchup won. They have the better coaching staff, not just with their head coach, but with their coordinators. They win the coaching battle. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, they're going to have that check mark for coaching. I think a lot of the time for the Cardinals, you're going to feel that way. Well, then that should lead to a lot of success. That should lead to a lot of optimism. I know all the concerns about the quarterback, but you have a revamped roster. You have a better roster than the last 2 years. And I think more importantly than in any other sport, you've got the coach right. And now here's his chance to prove it. Here's his chance to show that he's the right guy. But I don't for a second worry that he's not going to know how to handle himself with a 4-point lead and 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I don't worry that he's going to not know what to do.
Do I think he's Kevin O'Connell as a schemer? No.
No, he's not. He's not Sean McVay. He's not Kevin O'Connell.
They don't need him to be.
No.
They don't need him to be. I think he's a good leader. I think the team responds to him. And I think those are some of the most important things. I truly believe maybe he's not the biggest positive, but I would bet my life on the fact that he's not a negative for this team as they go into week 1. And so where does that lead you? This team is more talented than they were a year ago. They went up in 4 games last year. They went from 4 wins to 8 wins. Now where's the ceiling?
I want to do a quick thought exercise. I want to do the thing. I'm going to read you their schedule. Off the top of your head, don't think about it. Gut reaction. Who has the better coach?
Okay.
Cardinals at the Saints.
Cardinals.
Cardinals home against the Panthers.
Cardinals. I like Canales, though.
Cardinals at the 49ers.
Give me the Niners.
Cardinals home against Seattle.
Give me the Cardinals.
Cardinals against Tennessee.
Give me the Cardinals.
At Indianapolis.
With Cardinals.
At home against Green Bay.
Give me Green Bay.
At Dallas.
Cardinals.
At Seattle. You already gave Seattle to the Cardinals. We'll do that again. You already gave San Francisco. Jacksonville.
I like Cohen.
Yeah, but you don't know what Cohen is. Cohen is
I don't know what he is, but I like him.
He's an unknown.
Give me the Cardinals just because the unknown.
At Tampa.
Give me Tampa.
Home against the Rams. I don't even need to have that conversation.
Yep.
At Houston.
Give me Houston.
Home against Atlanta.
Oh, Cardinals.
At Cincinnati.
Cardinals.
11 of their 17 games, you picked the Cardinals with the better coaching staff.
Any that you blatantly disagree with?
No.
The Houston one.
I would take DeMeco Ryans.
I would too.
I love DeMeco Ryans.
Same. Okay. I was wondering what you would think about
I love
that
DeMeco. I thought you weren't going to pick. I thought you were going to pick Zach Taylor over Gannon. I was going to fight you on that one.
No. God. Zach Taylor should have been fired the minute they lost to Washington last year.
So you have the coaching matchup, one in 11 of your 17 matchups. And as Matthew points out over on the YouTube chat, a general is only as strong as his army. I would argue this is the strongest army Jonathan Gannon has had. This is the most talented roster that JG has had. So you give me that roster with this general, with this leader, with this coach, who I think we should all have trust and belief in. Again, continuing our conversation from earlier this week, this is why you should be excited about this team. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. We put out a social media clip. You cut the clip of me being optimistic about the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We put it out on social media. There was one platform in particular where it did really well. People were not happy with my take. We put it up on TikTok. A lot of people disagreed with me. A lot of people were like, you're too close to it. You're wrong. A lot of feedback, and it wasn't positive feedback. But again, I'm choosing to embrace the expectations around this team. You aren't. You are choosing to take let's face it, the easy road. To just assume that the Cardinals, who, as Michael pointed out in the chat, that only has 7 playoff wins in 100 years, you're just going with history. You're just saying this team stinks. They always stink. They're always going to stink. So they're not going to go anywhere. And so because of that, I can't get hurt. Guess what? I'm going to embrace being hurt. I am going to embrace that, I'm putting expectations on this team that if they don't meet them, I'm going to be hurt by them. But you know what? They're good enough for those expectations. So dare to be good, dare to be great.
I also we're not saying they're going to the Super Bowl.
I have not once said that the Cardinals are going to the Super Bowl. I have not once said they're going to win the NFC. I have not once said they're going to play in the NFC Championship game. I have said over and over and over again, this team is good enough to be a playoff team. This team is good enough to finally break through under Monty and JG and play in a playoff game. And I'm going to embrace those expectations. 480-864-1060 if you want to join us here on a Take Friday. Also got you covered over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 1 of the show. A little buy or sell. Producer Evan has the takes. I'm buying or selling what he's saying. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th. Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Colina. We've purchased 2 Fulton homes in the last 7 years. We would never buy anywhere but Fulton homes.
We actually tried other builders, looked at them, and nothing compares to Fulton quality. We're repeat builders with Fulton. It's been an amazing process, and we would never go anywhere else after experiencing it. The process working with the Fulton team was great. They cared. We got updates, and you could just tell how much they were excited, almost as much as we are. Fulton is so good at the homes they build. The quality you get is just really unmatched. They continue to care about us as a client, even though we've now finished the sale. I admired their communities because they were always a step above. The amount of landscaping, the way it was always groomed. They add the features that you want to be outside, you want to be in the community. And that matters to us. We want to be outside, not just in the home. And all the amenities are just amazing. We would buy Fulton Homes again in a heartbeat. I don't think we'd consider anybody else.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Wrapping up hour number one here of the lunch break on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan is behind the glass. He has buy or sell for us.
I'm a huge nerd.
5 topics that I'm either buying or selling. 5 statements, I should say, that I am buying or selling. Take it away, my friend.
Schmammer. We start with the baseball team. The sweep of the Mariners will be what launches the D-backs on a streak where they win 10 of 12, 9 of 11. Another launching point.
Oh, it just feels like a Mad Lib at this point where we just, every couple of days, we just replace the team and we say, this series is now the launching point. Oh, I'm wearing the teal shirt today.
You're buying.
I'm buying. That's the most, half-hearted buy in the history of the segment, but yeah, I'm buying.
The series with the Padres is the most important of the season. No, I'm just kidding.
No. You know what? If that was the statement, I'm ending the segment. The music's going away. I'm done. I'm not doing it.
No, I'm just kidding. This one is fun, and I've been kind of seeing it make its rounds, but I think we'll see a D-back in the home run derby this year.
I saw a story. I didn't click on it. I saw a story of 2 Diamondbacks. I think it was on azcentral.com. 2 Diamondbacks that could go to the home run derby. Are the 2 Corbin Carroll is one. By the way, I don't believe in this, but if you do believe in the home run derby ruins your swing, I don't want Corbin Carroll anywhere near the home run derby. Corbin is one. Who would be the other one?
I didn't read the story, actually, but my first thought is Gino.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would be really good at it.
Gino has a really good home run derby swing.
The most important thing in the home run derby is actually the pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close.
Who you bring to throw you. I mean, that's the reason why Pete Alonso won back-to-back.
Yeah.
He had a guy that was just throwing this.
They showed a graphic.
Just putting it on a tee. Just, you want it here? Done. Over and over and over again. I don't think we live in a world of AI and robots now. I don't think you could have made a robot to do it better than Pete Alonso's pitcher did in the home run derby. So, yeah, that's more important than I think anything else. What bat you use, where you stand, your swing, all about the delivery. Put the ball in the sweet spot. Put the ball in the area where you hit the most home runs.
So are you buying it?
I will sell.
No matter how successful a Kevin Durant trade in the offseason is as a whole, fans will still doubt both the owner and general manager.
Well, buy. Yeah, I think it's going to take a really long time for the trust to be earned back, and rightfully so. I mean, Matt Ishbia comes here as an owner, and he does all these flashy moves that gets everybody excited, or I should say a majority of the fan base excited, and then none of them work. You fire a bunch of coaches. You have the highest payroll in the history of the game, and you don't make the playoffs. You become a laughingstock. You fire another coach. You then hire a bunch of Michigan State guys. Yeah, you're putting on the clown makeup. Like, it's going to take a while to undo all of that.
What is that? Is it making the playoffs? Is it getting rid of Durant and Beal?
I don't know. I see this is a really interesting thing. Maybe we put a pin in this and we save this for next week. But I don't know what. Normally, sometimes you can be like, oh, just do this, right? Yesterday, you asked me about Coach of the Year. And I said, if Jonathan Gannon does this and this, win the division 11 games, I think he's going to be the Coach of the Year. I don't have those set of bullet points.
For the Suns.
I don't know. It's honestly, I just got to watch it happen, and then I'll determine, like, yes, I think they're on the right track.
I think there's two reasons why. One, we have a feeling of what they could get in the Kevin Durant trade, but really it's going to be hard to tell.
You just don't know.
Two, I don't know what their path is. Like, I don't know what's 2 steps forward.
Well, and again, what does the roster look like? Because they could put together a roster that I can squint at and go, that could make the playoffs. That can make the play-in tournament. And then they could put together a roster that I look at and I say, oh, no chance they're making the playoffs. No chance they're in the mix for the play-in game. So it all depends.
Also, John on YouTube
I know
thinks that Kevin Durant's going to be his son at the start of the season.
John,
I can't agree with that.
You cannot submit that for Take Friday because you've done it the last 4 Take Fridays that we've done. I'm just making it very clear. See, this is me having your back here, producer Evan. You can't. That's not a Take Friday because you've had that take before, and I think you're wrong. There's a lot of reporting, including from a radio host, not me, another radio host who said he's getting traded next week. Next week, he's gone. He's being moved. He's not going to be on the Suns next season.
The San Francisco Giants have been the most surprising team in baseball this year.
I was unprepared for this.
Sorry.
No. That's the point of buy or sell. So I want to look at the standings. I want to refresh my memory of where things sit right now. The most surprising in a good way?
Surprising in a good way. I mean, the most surprising is probably the Orioles, but I almost didn't count them because I meant surprising in a good way.
Right. That was going to be my
submission
to you, is that the Orioles are the most surprising thing in baseball. Or how bad the Rockies are. The Cubs being this good is surprising.
The other one is the Tigers being this good.
The Tigers being this good is also surprising. A lot of people thought that was just a fluke last year, and not a fluke. Best record in the American League. I'll buy this. The Giants currently sit at 40-29. They're 1 game back of the Dodgers. They're in front of the Padres and Diamondbacks. Yeah, I'll buy this.
I think it's been really interesting. Like, I thought they would be good, but I did not think they would be second in the division now and within a game of the Dodgers by middle of June.
They finally had somebody take their money.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried year after them in Toronto every year. Please, somebody.
No, it does feel like
take our dollars.
Every report ever is, yeah, but the Giants or the Blue Jays were the in Toronto.
They have a nice young core.
Listen, it's great that they got a free agent, but the 2 other names we threw out there were Ohtani and Aaron Judge, and they signed Willy Adames.
Well, and they tried for Carlos Correa, and they
had him. They signed him on paper.
On paper. Then he failed the physical.
The Stanley Cup Finals are going to go 7 games.
Feels like that's where we're headed, right? These 2 teams just toe-to-toe, all 3 periods, and even into overtime. They are just matching each other. It has been so much fun.
I know he has a couple overtime winners this postseason, so you try to take that knock. But Draisaitl, if you're going to score one in the Stanley Cup, that's how it goes down?
Easy. They all count the same. Hour number 2 of the program is next. We'll start by talking a little Kevin Durant. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, September 6th. With special guest Gene Dawson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit lincolnpark.com.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. You know, most pest control companies use the same products we do. That's not the difference. But what is the difference is how we treat people. At Moxie, kindness counts, and it shows in every visit, every conversation, and every one of the 6,500 plus 5-star Google reviews our customers have written. Our field experts aren't just trained to handle pests. They're trained to treat your home, your family, your pets, and your time with the kind of respect you deserve. And our services come with a pest-free guarantee. Our methods and service just work better because our people are better. So if you want a pest control company you can trust in and around your home, give us a call. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
The summertime savings are heating up at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive a 0% APR for 36 months on a brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander.
That's right, 0%. Or check out a 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage for just $16,000. Come see us at the Scottsdale Auto Show or go to scottsdalemitsubishi.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, another Mark Auto Group dealership.
If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, we're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text SuperAZ to 27800 to get 50% off our best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour, Friday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. It is a Take Friday. We'd love to hear from you at some point this hour, 480-864-1060. It is Friday the 13th. Okay. I never mind. Forget whatever we were about to do in this segment. Just put it off to the side. The reaction that producer Evan just gave me was one of that he did not realize it was Friday the 13th.
I did not realize.
You know what day it is. You know it's Friday.
And I've been typing the date all day.
You've been typing the date all day. And you just now realized it was Friday the 13th. Now, are you a superstitious kind of guy?
Not really.
See, there are certain things that I am superstitious about. I may have like OCD and I just don't know it. Like I'm very specific about certain things. My daughter, when she goes and plays softball, I cannot sit. I have to stand. I have to pace.
Is that superstitious or is that nerves?
No, it is just something I do every single time. It's probably a little nerves, but it's also I've been doing it the entire time, so I can't not do it. Like last night they were scrimmaging, but they had an actual umpire, so it felt like a real game, and I was sitting because it was just a scrimmage. I felt weird about it. I felt like I needed to get up and take a lap. And it isn't just like I stand away from everybody. Like I'm in my own zip code watching the game.
Aren't you coaching the team?
No, so when I was coaching, I I would be standing away from everybody else. I would be up, depending on what dugout we had, either up the first or third baseline, way like in the outfield, like just crouched and just watching. I had to be away from everybody else. And so now I'm not coaching this team that she's on now. And so I'm just away from everybody. So that I'm like superstitious about.
Are you like Mets play and you're in a playoff series, game one? Are you wearing the same thing for game two?
I will use the Mets as an example here. I just recently started to set up out in my courtyard in the front of my house at night. If it's a night game, not during the day, I have a TV out there. So I'll sit out there and I'll watch the games, get some sun, just kind of relax. Even though it's 100, it's nice. I actually enjoy it. Well, they started their winning streak while it was happening. So I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm going to continue to watch from here. And the other day they played a day game and it was like 110. And I'm like, I'm moving inside. I'm not doing this. Now, luckily they continued the streak, but it just, there are certain things about sports that like I'll sit in the same spot. And if they lose or win or whatever the case may be, I'll move spots. I'm routine oriented with certain things.
I'm a don't wash the jersey guy.
So now that I don't
the
do.
Devontae Smith.
No,
I have a Devontae Smith Eagles jersey.
No, that's stupid.
If I wear it and they win, I'm not washing that until they lose. Once they lose, I'll wash it. Then we restart the process.
So not,
But it's also like I'm wearing this jersey at home to watch the game for 3 hours. Like I'm not wearing it all day and I have a t-shirt under it. So I don't feel as gross about it.
But other than that, not superstitious. You're not worried that it's Friday the 13th. You're not worried about
not really
ladders and black cats and mirrors breaking or whatever.
Not really a superstitious guy. I don't know why I reacted like that for Friday the 13th.
I think you were just so shocked that I provided that information to you and you didn't know it, which was shocking to me because, I mean, it's everywhere. The screen right in front of you that has all of the spots and all of the sounds that you play, it literally says Friday 6/13 right there in front of you. So I'm surprised that it took until 12:07 for you to realize.
I also want to say something about the YouTube chat real quick. I want to acknowledge what Brian from Chandler has said about the studio. If you're going to go with a signed Josh Rosen jersey, go for a deeper pull, Brian. How about Kevin Cobb? Why Rosen?
All right, so you have to let the radio listeners in on what Brian said. So Brian is over in the YouTube chat, and Brian has said that the studio aesthetic, that he's seen phone booths with more character. And I will admit that if you're watching us on YouTube, behind me are just gray curtains. Now, the problem with it is the gray curtains were put up because light came through, and so we put some stuff up. We can try to get some stuff on the back part of the studio. The problem is I'm not allowed to really mess with any of the walls because there's soundproofing stuff on here, and there's like rules against that. So I'd have to get it cleared, but maybe we'll put up on this wall behind me just some fake signs or something. That's where we could put the meltdown countdown.
We could.
This many days since a meltdown incident, since a bullpen.
Like a big whiteboard?
Yeah, we can put that back there as well. And then Brian says also as a preemptive request for the leftovers, I think all of Aaron Rodgers' news, wife update sound bites or news on his latest retreat to Fiji not be included. Hit the button, don't care. I love that. Now that goes to the producer of the program because he's in charge of the leftovers. You taking notes over there?
Yeah. No, Brian from Chandler doesn't respect greatness. And that's what it is. The 4-time league MVP. Back-to-back league MVP.
Who cares?
Super Bowl MVP. Who cares?
Not doing it. What we do care about is Kevin Durant and a trade that appears to be imminent. Should get the news on that trade by the end of next week. I would predict that by the time we haven't drawn out process.
No, but I agree. They're going to move him next week.
Yeah. So all the reporting kind of points in that direction. But all the reporting also points in another direction. And it is a concerning direction. Because if there's anybody that has consumed more KD information and trade rumors and reports than I have. It is the producer of this show. Have you noticed that every single trade package, proposal, rumor includes the Suns doing the exact same thing that got them into their current mess? Have you noticed that every single trade package has them bringing back a shooting guard? Has them adding to their problem? This is exactly what happened when they traded for Bradley Beal. You have a bunch of guys who play the same spot. What are you going to do? Every single trade package I see has them taking back a shooting guard. Green in Houston. Vassell in San Antonio. There was a trade package with the Clippers that I saw yesterday. Or it was on a podcast that I was listening to. I had a shooting guard in that deal as well. Do they not understand that that is exactly the thing that got them into this mess?
Did they not watch Matt Ishbia's press conference to start the offseason with all this change? There's tons of change, and they're aligned now.
We are same, but different, but still same.
That's what it feels like if you're just going to. Now, here's the worst part. You're going to trade KD. You're going to get a shooting guard back, and technically, you're going to have 3 of those guys on your roster because you're still going to have Beal on the roster. You're going to have Beal, you're going to have Book, and you're going to have, with whoever you trade with, the 3rd shooting guard. That's too much of the same. That's exactly what got you into this mess. And so I am growing somewhat concerned. Now, Matthew does bring up a good point. I did want Donte DiVincenzo, and DiVincenzo does play the same spot, but I don't view DiVincenzo as like the centerpiece of what I'm doing. All of these deals, Green is the centerpiece. Vassell is the centerpiece. DiVincenzo is the sweetener, and DiVincenzo can be my guy off the bench as part of my second unit. That's why I like DiVincenzo. The spark that he can provide, 6th man, that kind of energy is what I would want from Donte DiVincenzo. But yeah, like even those deals, to your point, Matthew, also have a shooting guard in them. So is that just the way this is going to go? That we just have to accept that that's what's going to happen here? That they're just going to get back a guy that plays the same position as Book, plays the same position as Beal, and they're going to have to work that out? Now, if they do that, do you expect Beal to stick around, or is that somewhat of a sign that they're going to move on from Beal? Is that the sign that Beal isn't in the long-term plans or the short-term future for the Phoenix Suns? I don't even know what, truthfully, I want to see in this trade. Because another thing that I thought about yesterday, would you rather get picks this year, or would you rather get picks down the road? If you could only pick one or the other. If the Suns were forced to choose between, you can have an extra pick in this year's draft, or you can get future picks down the road. What would you rather have?
Give me the picks down the road. Just see where I'm at this year. Understand that I'm going to have a lot of roster turnover. Then address the holes. Now draft to fill holes.
I think I would be more inclined to take picks in this year's class. I think I would be more inclined to get 10 from Houston if they're offering it, 14 from San Antonio if they're offering it, and using those picks to get Jordan Knott young players to start crafting his vision. Because you can go down the road you outlined, Evan, but the problem I see with that is you then have to wait. And who knows what could be if you pick the right player. Because guess what? Where is Tyrese Halliburton selected? He wasn't the first pick. He wasn't the second pick. He wasn't the third pick. He wasn't a top 5 pick. Wasn't a top 10 pick.
Did you know the Suns could have had him?
Suns could have had him. So why is Halliburton as great as he is? Well, he's a great player, but he also got put into the right system, and they developed him, and now he is the player that he is. And the Kings, by the way, the Kings who drafted him and got him to a certain point, they wanted Sabonis, and so they made that trade, and then Indiana got Halliburton to the place that he is now. So if you're the Phoenix Suns, I would want to try to find my Tyrese Halliburton. I would want the picks in this year's class so Jordan Knott can have a say and say, this is the type of player that I want. This is the player that I think can be a future superstar. Because truthfully, everybody's trying to figure out the way out. Everybody's trying to map out how can the Suns be relevant. And many of us, myself included, have said this is going to take a little bit. This is probably, best case scenario, a 2 or 3 year project. There is one thing that expedites it. There is one thing that changes the math, that changes the equation. And that is if you find a Tyrese Halliburton, if you find a Giannis, if you find a Nikola Jokic in the second round, if you strike gold, then your path gets easier. And so if it were me, I would want those lottery tickets. I would want the opportunity to strike gold sooner rather than later. Because who knows? What if teams are only going to give you a pick in 2029, 2031, 2032? You have no idea where you're going to be as a team. You know where you're at right now, and you know what you need right now, and you can use those picks to build out that roster right this second. So I would want picks in this year's class. I would want to make sure at least one of the picks I'm getting back is this year. I would also try to avoid, if you could, creating more of a positional logjam for yourself. Now, maybe you don't care about who you're bringing in. Maybe you're okay with bringing in a DiVincenzo, or you're bringing in a Green, or you're bringing in a Vassell, because then you might flip those players for something else, because now by trading Durant and doing some financial gymnastics, you get under the second apron. So now you can bring back some more contracts. Your trade opportunities change. And so now you're moving people around. You're doing more activity. Perhaps that's the path. But boy, I would hate for this team to start the year and still have a similar positional logjam as to the one that they had a year ago without a clear plan for it, right? They didn't have a clear plan. Oh, just get stars, put them on the court, it'll work. It's okay to double up at a position. It's okay to have 2 or 3 centers if you know what you're going to do with them. It's okay to have 2 point guards if you know how you're going to deploy them. You have to have depth. You have to have a second unit. You also have to know how you're going to deploy these players. And there is a difference between getting Dante DiVincenzo to be your secondary shooting guard than to have Bradley Beal and Devin Booker on the roster together. It's different if you are going to have Devin Vassell, as a bench player coming off the bench as your second option. If you got Green from Houston, he's a starter. How are you going to make that work with Devin Booker? 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you covered over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We'd love to hear your thoughts over there as well. It is a Take Friday, so if you want to hop in, we gave out the phone number, 480-864-1060, to hop on board there. When we come back, Darius Robinson, is he one of the keys to the season for the Arizona Cardinals? And I have an admission. I'm dreaming again, and I'm dreaming about a specific player. I'll tell you who next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Celebrate Independence Day with your hometown professional soccer club. Phoenix Rising takes on Lexington SC on Friday, July 4th at 7:30 p.m. in a special military appreciation match. A night to honor those who serve and turn up the heat on the pitch. Fans will receive limited edition of Phoenix Rising sunglasses at the gate. And don't miss the debut of the club's Americana merchandise line, including a patriotic training top. Plus, enjoy $1 beers all match long, perfect for a summer night under the lights. Tickets start at just $15. Grab yours now at phxrisingfc.com.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Peter Frampton. Let's Do It Again tour, June 25th, Arizona Financial Theater. Grammy winner, the one and only Peter Frampton. On sale now at livenation.com.
Baby, I love you. As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NFL continues to dominate headlines, NBA Finals delivering, and it's the U.S. Open in golf. But if you're paying attention, no professional league has quietly had a better season than the NHL. Hockey has long lived in the shadow of America's Big Three. Yet this year, the NHL has delivered one win after another. The Four Nations tournament was a resounding success, reminding fans of just how electric international hockey can be. Alex Ovechkin, long chasing greatness, finally caught him, surpassing Wayne Gretzky as the league's all-time goal scorer. And now the Stanley Cup Final. More than lived up to the moment, the series has given us Hall of Fame talent on both benches, electric offenses, overtime thrillers, and no shortage of drama. The NHL may not command the same attention as baseball, football, and basketball, but this season, it certainly deserves to be in the conversation. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Not everyone who handles your personal information is going to be as careful as you are. It takes just one mistake, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to hackers and identity thieves. That's why there's a new victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. But fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock is going to monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, LifeLock plans are all backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You can't control how diligent other people are with your information, but with LifeLock, you can help protect it. Right now, save up to 40% off your first year. Promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. So save up to 40% with the promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. Terms apply. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
Hey listeners, Vince D'Alicio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning. It's our Father's Day special. Our team will talk about their dads. Plus, we'll feature local coaches, and we launch our new segment spotlighting how our favorite high school administrators are spending their summer vacation. This week, we're joined by Mesa High AD David Kleka. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Some Diamondbacks news coming up in about 8 minutes from now. An update on Justin Martinez. We will get to that and get you ready for the weekend as the Diamondbacks will take on the Padres starting tonight. Like I said, that coming up in about 8 minutes or so from now. But I want to talk about Darius Robinson for a second. And I want to talk about how important, not to go back and do our list from yesterday, the most important Cardinals not named Kyler Murray ahead of 2025, because Darius Robinson could have very easily ended up on that list. But is he one of the keys to this team and their success? And while on the surface, your gut reaction may have been to say no, allow me to make the case for yes for just a second. Allow me to paint the picture for you that Darius Robinson's actually playing more than Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell along that defensive line. And that the young first-round pick from a year ago blossoms underneath the wings of those two veterans who are going to be in his ear, who are already in his ear, and will continue to be in his ear all throughout this offseason, all throughout training camp, all throughout the preseason, and throughout the regular season as well. And the value that that brings to Darius Robinson. I don't know if they would have signed Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson if Darius Robinson had a full rookie season and we would be entering year two and he could build off of that year one. I don't know if there would have been the urgency to pay both of those guys. Maybe Calais would have been brought back, or they would have maybe just brought in Dalvin Tomlinson. I don't know if they would have done both of those moves, but to me, if Darius Robinson can tap into his potential, and now that he's entering a full offseason, not dealing with an injury, not going through what he went through in his personal life, being able to have a clean slate going into 2025, I wonder if we are going to watch him blossom and develop and become the player that the Cardinals thought they were drafting in the first round 2 years ago, and that he's going to be able to do that under the tutelage of Calais Campbell and of Dalvin Tomlinson and get those guys more in depth roles, rotational roles, not needing to carry the heavy workload. And then that just takes this defense, in my opinion, to a whole nother level if it's actually Darius Robinson that's leading the defensive line rather than the two veterans that they brought in. And those two veterans are more the complementary pieces to what the Cardinals are trying to do. He is one of the players that excites me for what he can be in 2025. I think he's in the right environment. I think he has the right mentors. And I think entering year 2, it is fair to expect a huge breakout for Darius Robinson. You're chuckling back there.
Just the text we got from a mutual friend.
Oh, so we've got somebody listening who's a mutual friend who's trying to be funny. And I haven't seen it because I'm, trying to be a professional.
But back to Darius Robinson.
Yeah, get us back on track.
They need a step forward from some of the young guys. And when we did that list, we talked about the different ways you could look at the most important Cardinals to the season.
I forgot the 5 names I put on my list now that I'm trying to think back to yesterday's show because I considered so many different names. I forget who I think it was Josh Sweat, Garrett Williams, Budda Baker, Paris Johnson Jr., and Trey McBride. I think were my 5. But you could put 10 names on that list. 10 names other than the 5 names I just mentioned. And Darius Robinson could very easily be put on that list. He could very easily be somebody that you would consider one of the most important Cardinals going into this year because he is a part of a group that is supposed to be vastly improved from a year ago. That is supposed to,
him making a step forward just leaps that group into a conversation that makes them a really legit defense. And for Darius Robinson, he's a guy it feels like we haven't talked about when you talk about this new and improved group. He gets a full healthy offseason. He gets a full healthy season, barring any injuries. But he's coming in for his first full healthy offseason in the NFL. There's going to be more preparation. He's going to know the system better. He's going to get more coaching. All of those things are going to be a big factor. And on top of that, now he's playing next to
exactly
and across from a very improved defensive line.
And he just gets to sit under the learning tree of Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson. Like, it's just to have those veterans, it's going to help everybody along that defense, not just the defensive line. It's going to help the edge rushers. It's just going to help everybody to have those guys in that room helping them. I may take us off the rails here. Yesterday, I made a statement that I was no longer going to talk about a veteran wide receiver. Did you see the story that was posted yesterday on azcentral.com?
I did.
And it's from somebody who I respect, somebody who in a past radio life for me was a weekly guest on the program that I produced. I talked to this man on the phone every week. Bob McManaman over at the AZ Central wrote an opinion piece advocating for the Cardinals to sign Keenan Allen. And so just when I was done, just when I was ready to just stop wishing for a veteran wide receiver, Bob, who's been covering this team forever, who knows this team better than anybody, says, hey, you know what they need? They need a veteran wide receiver. And you know who checks that box? Keenan Allen. I'm back. I'm back in. I'm back in on this team signing Keenan Allen. Raise the floor of that room. Raise the floor of that group. Give yourself an insurance policy if Marvin Harrison Jr. struggles a little bit to start this season. Give yourself a hedge against Marv and Kyler not being on the same page to start the year. And oh, by the way, what's it going to do to the rest of your offense? as Bob pointed out in the piece, it's not like Keenan Allen's going to come here and all of a sudden he's going to be the top target getter in this offense. Trey McBride's still going to get his. Marvin Harrison Jr. is still going to get his. But Keenan Allen's presence alone is going to change the makeup of this offense. I'm back in.
They're not going to do it.
No, I'm back in. I know they're not.
Okay, wait.
I know they're not, but you know what? Took a shot. What if we just took a shot?
Let me ask you this. You get one choice out of Pratt.
He signed.
Alexander.
He signed yesterday. Pratt signed with the Raiders.
Oh.
So now it's between
I missed that.
It's between Alexander and Keenan Allen.
And you're going to take Keenan.
I'm going to take Keenan. Now, if this was yesterday before Pratt signed, I would have said Pratt. But Pratt's off the board. They don't need Jair Alexander. They don't need him. They have a really good, solid corner room. It's young, yes. Their most experienced starting corner is a guy who was drafted 2 years ago. I get that. But boy, do I think they have a lot of talent in that room. They need another wide receiver. They need Keenan. You know, they need Keenan Allen.
What about Amari Cooper?
That would be fine too.
You dislike Amari Cooper compared to Keenan Allen.
I do, but he is a veteran wide receiver. That checks an important box for me. I don't think Amari Cooper can be the 1,000-yard guy that he was for a very...
Keenan Allen can't either.
I know. But comparing the two skill sets of what I think the Cardinals need, Keenan Allen fits it more than Amari Cooper does. But again, I would not be mad at both. That a veteran wide receiver being brought in here would be fine with me. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program when we come back. An update on Justin Martinez and what does a successful weekend look like for the Arizona Diamondbacks? What do we need to be talking about on Monday in order for us to say, yeah, you know what? It was a good weekend for the D-backs. That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Ooh, Del Taco? Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
LB boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah?
Del, yeah. What was that? Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah. Price of participation may vary.
Hey Arizona, Tom Chambers here. I've learned that great teams are built by hard work, ethics, and perseverance. That's exactly what you get with Right Way Roofing. Right Way Roofing is a third-generation roofing company that has built trust in our community through their commitment to excellence. They use the toughest, most durable materials to handle Arizona's extreme weather. Take it from me, Tom Chambers. When it comes to your roof, choose the team that delivers excellence, because there's only one way, the right way.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Auction Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Auction Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT STEP. Visit the Caesars Reward Center for details.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KTUS AM 1060, Chris Schubert with you. We'll start talking about the news that Torey Lovullo just shared. I'm reading it here from Jack Summers, who covers the Diamondbacks for SI.com. But Torey Lovullo was on MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM and said that Justin Martinez expected to miss at least 12 or 13 months with what is being called a UCL sprain in his right elbow. Lovullo added that J-Mart is seeking second opinions just to make sure, but it does look like the Diamondbacks will be without their closer for at least 12 months. And we were talking about it in between the break, which means the next time we're going to see Justin Martinez pitch in a game for the Diamondbacks is probably at the earliest July 1 of next year. That they're going to be without their hard-throwing closer for at least the next calendar year. What a tough blow for a team that has been dealt a ton of tough blows this season. I mean, this is now the third, fourth pitcher that they've lost for an entire season. They've lost 2 pitchers to Tommy John surgery already. Christian Men is down for a while. And now Justin Martinez is done for at least the next 12 or 13 months. And so for a bullpen that has been all out of sorts, for a bullpen that has never been settled, guys have been in and out of that bullpen all year long. They have not had a settled group for what feels like more than a couple of days. They probably have had stretches where the group has been settled. It just hasn't felt that way. It has felt like there has always been maneuvering out there with new names coming in and other names leaving. And now they're going to be without Justin Martinez for at least the next 12 months, if not longer. Just a huge, huge, huge blow. So Justin Martinez is not saving this bullpen this year. They're going to get A.J. Puck back here somewhat in the near future. That should help stabilize things. But they're going to have to figure this out with the guys that they have. And it's been better as of late. Producer Evan had some numbers. I don't know if you still have them handy, but you shared some numbers with me in a morning meeting earlier this week that if you take out one bad game, and I believe it was the game. What game was it that you wanted to remove from the equation? There was it was the game where J-Mart got hurt.
Yeah, so if you take out the game where J-Mart got hurt and Brigham gives up the 4 runs coming into that game, you have, since Sunday, the 8th, you gave up 0 runs on 1 1/3. The 9th, you got 5 innings, 1 run, because technically J-Mart gets the first earned run that Brigham gives up. Then in the 10th, you have 4 innings, 1 run. The 11th, 2 2/3, no runs.
So they've been better recently. Again, taking out the weirdness of somebody coming in cold when J-Mart gets hurt and then him giving up all those runs. How often are you going to be in a situation like that? Unfortunately, with this team, it feels like we've been in it too regularly this year. I mean, we have a meltdown meter, for goodness sake. But it feels like somewhat they're finding some stability. And if they get one of their better arms back in A.J. Puck here in the next couple of weeks, if some of the arms that they called up, I believe they just added Anthony DeSclafani to their roster as well. They got him from the Yankees. And so it feels like they're trying to patchwork this for as long as they can, basically until the deadline. They can make themselves relevant enough then. You know how you try to figure out what does a team need at the deadline? Oh, they need this, they need that. The Diamondbacks need bullpen arms. How's that for a hot take? How's that for a Take Friday? The Diamondbacks need bullpen arms at the deadline.
You're our current leader.
So no J Mart for at least the next year. Not going to obviously have him this weekend. And so where we wanted to go here on this part of the show is, what does this weekend need to look like? We said earlier this week that they left us breadcrumbs. I want the loaf of bread now. And maybe the next natural progression is we find a slice of bread and then we worry about the whole loaf. But you've left me breadcrumbs. I'm hoping that those breadcrumbs lead to a slice of bread. How do we get to that slice of bread? How do these breadcrumbs turn into that slice of bread? Well, it starts this weekend against the Padres. So what does that need to look like? And I'm going to sound like a broken record on this, but it really comes back to one thing in particular for me. Just keep stacking series wins. And I'll say something I said a couple of weeks ago going into the National Series. I said, I don't care how the games look. I don't care what the final scores are. Just win. Find a way to win. That message still applies going into this series with San Diego. I don't care if we add a couple of games to the meltdown meter. I think we know that we're going to add more games to that list here for the next couple of weeks. Just know that's going to happen. It basically happens at a clip of one every week. So we know that it's going to happen. But have it be a meltdown where you still hold on and win the game, like it was the other night. And just find a way to win. Win a game 10-9, blow a lead, come back and win the game. I particularly don't care. Find a way to win. And if you start stacking up those series wins, then the breadcrumbs turn into a slice of bread. And if you stack up enough slices of bread, we have a full loaf of bread. And this analogy isn't great, but it takes us to a place of this team being relevant again. It takes us to a place of this team being a buyer at the deadline instead of selling. They're buying more loaves of bread than they're selling their current loaves of bread.
Once you have more bread, you can start selling bread.
Right.
Start bringing in a return for bread.
I mean, the breadcrumbs were good, and then I followed it to finding the slice and then the loaf. And
then you got a bread route. Now you're delivering bread.
I didn't know where we were going to go when we had the full loaf, and now apparently we're delivering bread to everybody else in the neighborhood. Win the series. You've won 2 of your last 3 series. You've swept both of those series. You don't need to sweep against the Padres. You'd love it. We did the math the other day. Right now you sit 4.5 games back of the Padres. You sweep them, you pull them within 1.5 games of you in the standings. That'd be a pretty nice place to be on Monday. But we will come in here on Monday and we'll play the sounder. We can do a mock version of this.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I want to hit that on Monday and talk about the Diamondbacks winning a series. If we do that, successful weekend. We would call it a successful weekend. We would start to be able to see the forest through the trees here. And we would start to think that this team has found it. That this team is back on the right track. And if you win this series, boy, is it going to be very easy for your mind to wander to what they're going to be able to do when they take on the Rockies, the Marlins, and the White Sox in that 9-game chunk. You're going to be able to start dreaming and wondering, how many wins can you start to stack up? But you got to win the first one. And oh, by the way, importantly, you've got some pretty good pitching matchups this weekend. You've got the way you would draw it up if you had to pick 3 pitchers to start for you this weekend.
You have Merrill Kelly. You got Zach Gallen. It's an important start for Zach Gallen this weekend.
I would argue they're all important starts right now for this team. Every single start is an important start.
From Zach Gallen's personal viewership, I think this is probably his most important start to this point this season.
Why do you say that? Not that I'm not saying that I disagree with you, but why do you say that?
This lineup, you had a decent start last time out until it kind of the wheels fell off late. You need a bounce back start. You can do it against a team in division, against the Padres who have a good lineup, build confidence, and this is a team that you're chasing in the wild card. In a contract year, this is the one that Zach Gallen could circle and be like, hey, look what I did on that start. Very important in the month of June when we needed it most.
Zach Gallen, in 4 of his last 5 starts, has given up at least 4 earned runs. The only one where he did not give up at least 4 earned runs was the brilliant start that he had in Atlanta that kind of started all of this for the Diamondbacks, where he went 7 innings and allowed the 1 earned run, and he gave up 3 runs overall, but that was because of a couple of errors from Eugenio Suarez that allowed some runs to score, where the defense didn't back him up, and the game kind of that, I believe it was 4-1 at the time, and that made it 4-3, and you were starting to get nervous, and then the Diamondbacks blew it open. He needs to be more like the guy he was in Atlanta than he's been in the starts surrounding that. So, yes, it's an important start for him. Just like it's an important start for Merrill Kelly to continue to be right now. He's the leader of this pitching staff. Whether he wanted to be or not is somewhat irrelevant. He is the leader of this pitching staff right now, and he needs to continue to go out there and be that leader. And we referred to him as a blue-collar pitcher, lunch pail mentality. He just needs to continue to be that guy because that's what allows you to win series. You have your stopper in there to make sure you're always going to get one, find a way to win another one. Find a way to win either the Ryne Nelson or Zach Gallen start, and you feel good with those two guys with their talent to steal one against San Diego. So, 3-game series starts tonight. We'll be back here on Monday to break it all down. We still have one more segment here, though, on this edition of the show. We've got the leftovers. They're coming next. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring, live in Phoenix. With special guests, Jimmy E. Pearl and Newfound Glory. Playing Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater August 27th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. 1 incredible show. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event is going on now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale.
Right now, you can receive up to $500 bonus cash on some of our most popular models.
The name to remember, Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for full details.
If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, we're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text SuperAZ to 27800 to get 50% off our best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
It has been a fun week of shows here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. We are wrapping up the week, wrapping up today's edition of the program. The leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. They are provided to us by producer Evan
Schmammer.
Take it away, my friend.
All right. So first, we touched on it earlier, but the Brewers traded Aaron Savali for first baseman Andrew Vaughn in Major League Baseball. And really, what I remembered here, you remember when Andrew Vaughn was like a top prospect?
I remember when everybody thought Andrew Vaughn was going to come up for the White Sox and just be a perennial 25, 30 home run hitter and just, be their answer at first base. We didn't get there.
Never got there.
Now he's being traded for Aaron Savali. Do you think the Brewers did this on purpose? Do you think they saw that Savali wanted to get traded and requested a trade and they said, how can we make this as painful as possible? They didn't do that, right? They thought this was the best deal that they could get.
I don't know.
They called a couple of teams and they're like, you know what? Andrew Vaughn. That's the answer. Please tell me.
Do you think that's what it was?
I certainly hope it's not the alternative. I certainly hope it wasn't a slight to Savali.
Send him to the White Sox.
Make this painful for him. You want to be a starter? Yeah, go be a starter for the Chicago White Sox. I mean, they could have sent him to Colorado, so I guess it could always be worse.
Could be worse. The White Sox aren't the worst team I've ever seen.
No.
That belongs to the Rockies. Could have been the Pirate.
And it also isn't sending him to last year's White Sox team.
Yeah. He could have been a Pirate, too.
He could have been a Pirate, yes.
Where he's not even going to be a frontline starter over there. At least he'll get innings as a White Sox.
Oh, he'll get innings.
As a Pirate, you could argue he might not get innings and they stink.
Yeah, he's going to have plenty of opportunity to showcase his. Now, interestingly enough, if I'm Chicago and he pitches well,
you flip him at the deadline.
Flip him at the deadline.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought they were going to do. That's also why Chicago probably made the deal.
They thought, hey, we can move on. We'll get Savali, and then we can flip him if he's good at the deadline. Yeah, that makes some sense.
Yeah. U.S. Open is where we stand currently. Give a little update.
Yeah, because you didn't give out picks on Wednesday.
Because I didn't give out picks on Wednesday because I lost track of my weeks, and I thought it was next week.
At least Paul, whether or not we want them, gives us the horse picks. Never misses. Is always there for us. You, however, golf's your thing. You said Rory's winning the Masters. You were correct. And now the people, they wanted to hear from you. They wanted to know. Producer Evan, who's he picking for the U.S. Open? And you know what you gave him? Nothing.
I gave him nothing.
We went busto. You gave him absolutely nothing.
You wouldn't have wanted my picks anyway.
No, you said you had J.J. Spawn.
Obviously. I mean, I was big on J.J. Spawn.
You're all over him being the round one leader.
J.J. Spawn has not teed off yet.
No,
but he is still the leader at 4 under.
No, see, this is you're having a bad golf week. He's even through 9. So I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh yeah, he is even.
But
through
he's
9.
even through 9. So he's played the front 9 or the back 9.
Yeah, sorry, I have to refresh this.
You want to start over? You want?
Got it.
All right, the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Here is producer Evan.
I'm a huge nerd.
Take it away, my friend.
The leaderboard of the U.S. Open, J.J. Spawn, just holding steady today at 4 under through 9 today. He's on the 10th. He's even. Tied, though, at 1 under to the day is Tristan Lawrence, who is now through 2 with an asterisk which means he teed off on 10.
Yeah, and
So technically he's through 11.
And this is also going to be
Some
fun.
12.
This is going to be funny to keep the bit going. He birdied, so now he's at 500, and he's now the leader of the U.S. Open.
That happened just now.
No, well, what I'm looking at has him at 500. So
I mean, I just refreshed this.
Well, maybe you want to refresh again.
But Sam Burns is having a day out there. 500 today. That gets him at 3 under and is now third.
Victor Hovland is 2 under on the day. He's 1 under overall. He's in fourth. Yes.
Yeah, and Ben Griffin at 2 under. I think this is going to be a fun end of the tournament. Also, the rough at Oakmont. Have you seen this?
It is.
I mean, that has to be miserable. Love the Oakmont logo. Love the squirrel.
There are times where I'm okay if you go a little off the fairway. Sometimes I like that first cut. Sometimes if it's set nice, I'm okay with a miss over there. I'm
not at Oakmont.
I am not okay with a miss at Oakmont. No, got to keep that thing in the fairway. Got to color in between the lines.
And honestly, the one guy that I really did like this week was Morikawa, because I was like, well, he's great out of the rough and he's pretty accurate. I just think that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if you're good or bad out of the rough. It's going to eat you alive.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you don't stand a chance.
Moving to what has been kind of an interesting story in football. The Cincinnati Bengals are up to their old ways.
Oh man. Hold on. You can tell the story. I'm trying to think if any of the drops that we have work for this.
Shamar Stewart, who they drafted in the first round, their rookie, has not signed his contract, and they have not been able to work out a deal yet.
Well, he has not signed his contract, not because he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be there.
And has now left mandatory minicamp. And gosh, the Bengals, they just can't stop. They just can't get out of their own way.
So they want some language in there that allows them to not guarantee some of the money. If I'm understanding this situation correctly, they want some type of hedge that doesn't exist in any other contract that is given out to a first-round player. I don't know why they want to do this. I don't know what their motive is other than wanting to look extremely terrible to everybody else in football. And oh, by the way, while they're doing this, while this is ongoing, how's that Trey Hendrickson contract extension working out?
It's going great.
So you have 2 players that, let's face it, you're not handling these situations the best right now. The Hendrickson thing, this is different than TJ Watt in Pittsburgh. This is different than Micah Parsons in Dallas. TJ, last year, Trey Hendrickson went to the Bengals and said, I want a new contract. I want an extension. Let's get this done. Didn't happen. He went out there and had the same year that he had the year prior, 17.5 sacks, was brilliant. Now he's like, okay, now I want my contract. And they're still playing hardball. It's a bad look. And this is kind of me shoehorning in a drop, but this is what I would say. I don't like the play. I don't like it. I do not like it from Cincinnati's perspective, the way they're choosing to handle this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes it. I just don't understand how they continue to do stuff like this. Like, how does this happen every time?
I can tell you exactly how it happens. Do you want to know how it happens?
Even owner doesn't care.
It starts at the top. You have an owner that doesn't care. Or you have an owner that cares, but is just bad at this.
And say what you will about Ishbia, at least he cares.
Never question that he cares.
You're never going to get a point where they're not going to sign somebody they drafted.
By the way, do you know that you now have 2 enemies? 3 enemies.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even going to give him the light of day.
Because Paul, I think, is enemy number 1.
But Paul and I have good banter. It's more of a frenemy.
And I think the same would apply for John.
Yes.
I don't know where your relationship with Brian stands right now, because Brian says, based on let's just call it what it was, the dumpster fire of you trying to figure out the score, the golf leaderboard. I don't know where you were looking, but whatever it was not giving you the best information you were.
I was on PGA's website.
It was not working for you. So Brian over on YouTube says, I wonder if Evan knows that the Sun season is over or if they're still playing. Let me just teach you something, because you're new to this radio business. You can't open the door for people. You can't. Trust me. They come after me because I open the door. If you don't want them to come through the door, don't open it. And you open the door by not being able to read the golf leaderboard. You set yourself up for it. You set yourself up for a comment like, maybe Evan is going to give you the Suns box score here in a minute for the game that they played last night.
Yeah, I messed up the leaderboard, but you know what Brian knows? I called Rory to win the US or win the Masters, and that's what matters.
That is what matters. That is what matters. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Friday edition of the show. Jim Rome, he's coming up next. Producer Evan, great week. Appreciate all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. See ya!